Hello. Oh, I accidentally moved my camera right off the bat. So we have a great sentence this week. It's from the book Above the Rim, which is a nonfiction book. Um, Before we even start, I would like for you to look for the punctuation at the end of the sentence. At the end of the sentence, it is an exclamation point. Because it's an exclamation point, that means that it could be one of two types of sentences. So the types of sentences that have an exclamation point are exclamatory, which is something that's exciting, or it could be something that is a command. So it's an imperative. If you read this sentence, does this command anything? 2 years later, the Lakers moved to Los Angeles, California, where famous people seem to be everywhere. No, it's not a command. It's not demanding that anybody do anything. So this type of sentence is going to be a what? It's going to be an exclamatory sentence. Woo! And at least the year that I'm making this is our first exclamatory sentence. It's the first one actually that's not a declarative. So this is a pretty big deal. All right, so let's look back at the sentence. If you haven't paused yet to try to guess what the parts of speech are, go ahead and pause it. There are a lot of adverbs this week and a few prepositions. So it is a couple of weird things going on this week. One of the main things that I think we should notice is that there are a lot of capital letters in this sentence. And the reason we have a lot of capital letters is because there are proper nouns inside this sentence. So nouns, if they're a specific name of something, then they need to be capitalized. That's called a proper noun. So we have a sports team, which is Lakers. So that L is capitalized. And then we also have a city, which is Los Angeles. We also have a state, which is California. And all of these are special names to describe a specific name of a specific thing. So a sports team, a city, and a state. Also, guys, I want you to notice that between the city and the state, there is a comma. That's how we show the difference between a city and a state. We connect them together, but we also don't want them to be all just one big blob. So it's important to make sure you have a comma between a city and a state. All right, and that being said, because we already capitalized these, we already discussed how these are proper nouns. So I'm going to write proper noun above each one. So above Lakers. Now, Los Angeles, that's actually technically like one word altogether. I'm not going to write proper noun, because I'm not going to separate Los and Angeles because that's one city. It just happens to be two words. I'm going to write it over it. So proper noun. And California is a proper noun. All right, I'm going to keep on going. So back to the beginning of the sentence. 2 years later. If you guys remember from our ordering adjectives, we remembered that the word to is a describing word. So the number of something is a describing word. So that is an adjective. And it's describing the noun years. But because it has an S on the end, years, it's more than 1 year, so it's a plural noun. That means more than 1 year. Plural noun. The word later, that is our first adverb. So later is describing years. It's not just an adjective. It's describing like in time where things are. So later is an adverb. Also, kind of interesting to note is that it's a bit of a transition. So it's saying 2 years later. So that's a specific instance in time. So we have a comma after it to then explain what happened after those 2 years. We have the word the, which is a what? It's an article. Those are those small words like a, and the. So 2 years later, the Lakers moved. What is that? Is that a describing word? No, it's not describing the Lakers. Is it a person, place, or thing? No. It is an action word, so it is a verb. And because it has an ed on the end of it, it's actually a past tense verb, which means it happened in the past. Past tense verb. To Los Angeles, California. So we already have our proper noun, proper noun. To is positioning how they're moving. It's like, it creates a prepositional phrase. So to Los Angeles, California. That is a preposition. We also have the word to over here. So preposition, preposition. To Los Angeles, California, comma. So there's another one. There's a lot of commas in this sentence. There's one after the sorry, the transition. The Lakers moved to Los Angeles, California. That's one idea, isn't it? So we have a verb and we have who's doing it. So the subject is the Lakers. And what did they do? What is the action that they did? They moved. That is our predicate. So we have our subject and our predicate. The Lakers moved. So then we have another piece of a sentence where famous people seem to be everywhere. This could mostly be by itself. Famous people seem to be everywhere. Where is almost like a conjunction in this situation. It's a conjunction that also kind of serves as an adverb. Kind of doing a conjunctions job right here. It's combining two sentences together. Famous, people. So famous describes the people. So people are nouns. And actually people, it's more than one person at one time, so I'm going to call that a plural noun. And famous is describing them, so that's going to be an adjective. Seemed. So if you seem, it's a verb. So this is another past tense verb. So Lakers moved and then the people seemed. We have two subjects and predicates because, oh no, sorry, I don't like the way that looks. So the people seemed. Two subjects and two predicates because we have a conjunction. So it conjoins right here. Lakers moved to Los Angeles, California. Famous people seem to be everywhere. Okay, so be is a verb. It's not a very active sounding verb, but it is a verb. It is the action of being. You're doing something. By just being, you are doing it. And then everywhere. Everywhere is another adverb. So it's adverb city up in here today. So lots of adverbs. But the main thing I wanted us to gain from this sentence is the fact that we have all these proper nouns. So we want to connect the city to the state. A city is special, a state is special, and then a sports team is a specific name too. All right, guys. Thank you so much for walking through the sentence with me.